So, I can't figure out the center. Let's probably to get through this super creep show starring Trimet creeps. We're overpaid. We have no social fix at all. But here we are.
Additional mitigations we're proposing. Next slide. The first, and I really believe this is not getting enough credit. This is an amazing way to thread a needle for obviously an
This is enough expensive. This is just, there's a he's just a rat and a sheath.
uncomfortable situation. But we're proposing not to increase the cap. So if you're a low-income rider, if you're a senior, if you're an individual with disability, if you're a youth, you will still be able to pay for your fare at $28.
Yeah, you have to look at 20 times for it to actually kick in. So only on the 21st ride, you save money. And I would imagine that most people do not ride this system very often.
2 years from now, if the board moves forward, the cost of your ridership will only be $28. So our challenge, of course, is to connect with even more than the 50,000 folks we've already done so to make sure this is as leveraged and used as much as possible.
Your challenge is to not fuck with things. Listen, you sociopaths.
We're also not increasing the cost of our Lyft paratransit fares. Before we actually collect fares in that system, we provide a 50% discount, 50% more than the federal government suggests we collect. So the paratransit Lyft fares will not be going up beyond the 15 cents that you've seen proposed. And again, we feel very proud that over the last few years, we've worked with community to register
We're a bunch of sociopaths and psychopaths.
50,000 folks, but we want to grow the registration into the reduced fare program. And we're going to extend the eligibility. Today, it's only 2 years you sign up and you get 2 years of eligibility. Obviously, it's taking people a longer time to transition into a higher economic status. So 3 years we think is appropriate. It aligns with Honored Citizen. Another thing that is buried within the budget, but when you sign up for the reduced fare program, your first month is free. So that free month fare is actually more than an entire year of fare increases. So again, by getting more people connected to the reduced fare program, they will not see an impact of that actual fare increase if the board moves forward. And the last thing we want to do is we want to expand the hot retail network. Obviously, a lot of things happened during the pandemic, a lot of small.
So remember, they said we're going to be like 10,000 places for you. From that's how you're doing. So there's you've been I'm following you.
Small businesses close, but we really want to focus on small community storefronts, especially culturally and ethnic specific storefronts, as we begin to really push
Culturally and ethnic, they're garbage.
A lot of effort into engaging limited English proficient communities. So these are the proposed mitigations. We'll work with our TIAC and CAT on other strategies, but those are the high-level ones that you'll see in the formal Title VI report. So any questions, we'd be happy to answer.
Disgusting.
Director Wade, and then
Director Wade is the only one that actually cares about any of this.
Director Gonzalez.
Thank you.
The Ozzy. Speaking of Ozzy, let me show you my little. Ozzy's such a sociopath, man. Let me show you this. So I'll be posting this on that blog, but. Listen to this. Look at this. Listen to this guy. This is a real sociopath. This activity for one of their low income, but poverty is a state of mind when we sound parenting conflicts. Something a damn sociopath would say. If you can use Twitter, you can apply. You motherfucking asshole. What a piece of shit he turned out to be.
So as a board, we've listened to this report a couple times, so thank you, John. I have a couple questions. So is our current fare increase a Title VI violation?
So I would say it's not a Title VI violation. Title VI requires that service changes, fare increases,
It says violation.
purchase, property, and disposition go through a Title VI analysis. So the 12% flags a Title VI finding, not a violation, but a finding. And so we are required to propose mitigations to avoid, minimize, or
This is for mitigation. There is an expand our network. There is no mitigation.
mitigate the impacts of the increase.
Got it. Okay. And then during the last time that we did a fare increase, and you could cite that year because I forget, was there a Title VI finding or a flag or a violation?
There was, and it was very hard to find
It's true. I don't even think the Title VI was done.
because it was 2012, so trying to find a copy of that document. So it was a
Your document. Can you believe these lots of explanations? Oh, 2012 document.
it was the Title VI analysis was embedded in a service increase. So essentially, there was a 80-page document on service increase, and there were 2 pages of a Title VI review. So we have gotten really sensitive and clear on Title VI over the last 7 or 8 years. So I think this was a very robust undertaking to analyze the impacts. But it did trigger a finding 11 years ago as well.
So again, a finding, but not a violation of Title VI.
No, a violation would be if we propose to do a fare increase without engaging the community or following.
For Title VI. Correct?
Following the proper required steps, which not only did we satisfy that, we actually went pretty deep into additional engagement activities.
Thank you. I just want to, and then I'll stop, and I'm sure other people have questions, but I guess my comment is centered around there was a fare increase in 2012. There was a Title VI finding, which is that's we're following the process, right, of what the federal government wants us to do. And I'm sure that there was a mitigation plan in place because of the findings. That's my assumption. And so between 2012 and now, I guess, how did we measure those mitigation impacts? Because what I'm hearing, again, is that 10 years later, 12 years later, we are still trying to get people into the low-income fare program. We are still trying to mitigate, the disparate outcomes of fare increases.
So what I would say is, from my understanding, the only mitigation I saw, and it wasn't clear that it was actually from that 2012, I think it was more attached to the orange line, but I think it was back then, maybe 2013, the board approved a $1 million grant program, which we have expanded. That's where I think Access Transit began. Now that program consists of about $3 million in direct grants to 150 nonprofits who then can provide those grants in the form of free fares to riders. So when you hear of a rider, that gap, there are $3 million worth of grant resources. Since that time, we're probably closer to $4.5 million in free.
$4.9 billion. Because it's not even 1%.
Grants and or reduced grants. So but I would say that's more 5 years ago when we did the e-fare and moved to HOP system, those were when a lot of those mitigations came out. So to me, I wouldn't, when you were talking about like the registration, to give you context, our reduced fare program is very much like King County and Seattle's Work or Live program.
God damn it. I'm not going to do that fast just because I have to talk to the person. Oh, well, I tried. That's true.